Welcome to this tips and tricks video from My Favorite Things. In today's video, we're going to be going over the basics of how to create a spinner card for a fun and interactive element in your card designs. To create a spinner card, you're going to need a shape that when you put it back to back, it's going to line up perfectly on both sides. And this is what's going to allow you to sandwich the string in the middle and not be able to see it, and allow this component to actually spin when you open the card. So for my card example today, I'm going to be using the Tweet Friends stamp set and coordinating dynamics, and I'm going to be using this rectangle shaped birdcage because it perfectly lines up when I put it back to back, so that when we adhere it together, it's going to look like one solid shape. To dress it up a little bit more rather than just having the solid shape, I am going to use the coordinating stamp, and I'm going to stamp the birdcage into the center area of each of these die cut pieces. I love that you have a coordinating design to match perfectly with the die cut shape. It just makes the spinner card look even more realistic when you're finished because you have the actual detail of the birdcage stamped on both sides of it. So I'm just going ahead and stamping both of these bird cages with premium dye ink in black licorice. And because the stamp is clear, it allows me to see through it and know exactly where I need to position that stamp so that it centers the bird cage on the center of that die cut piece. So now I have two bird cages that when I adhere them back to back are going to create one finished bird cage. So it's just a fun way to kind of make it look a little bit more realistic, because when it spins around, you're going to see the cage on both sides of the die cut. So now that I have my birdcage all die cut and stamped, I'm going to set that aside and actually create the window that our little spinner piece is going to go inside. So I have a card base here that I've already prepared, and what I did is I just cut a rectangle area out of the center. You can make your spinner area any shape or size you want. You just have to make sure that whatever you're going to actually put into the spinning part is going to fit in the open area that you've provided. In addition to the rectangle piece that I've cut out of the center of the card front, I also cut a little frame piece there you can see to the right. This is the same size rectangle as the card, and I've cut it slightly smaller than the actual full size of the card front so that when I adhere it to the inside of the card, you're not going to see it from the outside, but it's going to securely hold our spinner piece into that opening. So before I adhere that down, I went ahead and had put all the adhesive around the rectangle, and you want to make sure you apply a generous amount and you fully add adhesive completely around that rectangle area. And now I'm just taking the string that is going to make my birdcage spin, and I'm going to adhere it inside this opening. So I'm just using the lines on my grid mat to kind of make sure it's straight up and down, and I'm adhering it at the top and the bottom area of the rectangle where I've placed adhesive. Now you really want to make sure that the string is really adhered down, because if it's not, it will easily pull out of this cardstock panel once you've adhered it together. So I like to just take some really sticky double-sided tape and go ahead and place that over top of that string as well to kind of hold it down even more and really ensure that I have it adhered down. And then I just peel off the backing so that when I add the panel on top, it sticks directly to that sticky tape as well as the rest of the adhesive that we've placed on the perimeter of that rectangle. So now you can see I have my panel on the inside, and when I fold the card closed, you can see I have a string kind of floating down the center area of that rectangle. It doesn't really look like much now, but once we add the spinner element onto it, it will. So to create the spinner portion, I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive to the back of both of my bird cages. And once again, you really want to be generous with the adhesive. You want to make sure you fully coat both of these cages so that when you adhere them together, they're nice and stuck. And I'm just going to go ahead and put one of the bird cages behind my string and one in front. And I'm going to sandwich that string directly down the center. So I just kind of positioned it, made sure it was where I wanted it to be, and I adhered one on. And that string will adhere directly to the adhesive you've put on the cage. And then I flipped it over and put the second bird cage directly on top so that they're back to back, and I have a completed bird cage kind of floating on this string. And now you can kind of see when I open that card up, the little cage spins freely in the open area. So to dress it up a little bit more, I'm not going to completely finish the card in this video. I just kind of wanted to show the mechanics of how to create the spinner. I did add a couple of birds just to show you that if you have the bird image kind of on both sides, it just kind of makes it repetitive and you see it no matter which way the bird cage is spinning. Thanks so much for joining us for this spinner card tips and tricks video from My Favorite Things. Please visit us at mftstamps.com.